Mga ate at mga kuya, welcome back to Kuya Puto's channel. Alam nyo ba, malaking fan po ako ni Kuya Inags. Look him up, Kuya Inags. Okay, nasa YouTube po siya. He's a very popular Filipino YouTuber. Dahil po nung bago tayo sa YouTube, he was one of the very few people that actually helped us promote Kuya Puto's channel. So I will forever be grateful to Kuya Inags. And lately po, meron ako napanood na video ni Kuya Inags. It was an unfortunate incident involving yung kotse po ng wife niya. Dahil nasa parking lot, yung kotse nakaparada doon legally, and merong bumangga, tapos yung bumper niya, tsaka yung taillight niya, nasira. It's really unfortunate, and nung pinapanood ko po, napansin ko parang, I think it's maybe, don't quote me on this, maybe it's the first time that it's ever happened to Kuya Inags, and you know, he wasn't really sure what the next steps were to take. So I figure I would make this video, that way, yung mga kabayans natin na nagmamaneho, alam po nila kung ano gagawin nila, step by step, kung mangyari sa kanila to. Mind you guys, I don't want this to happen to anybody, but accidents happen. It's inevitable. And it's always good na ready tayo. Alam natin kung ano gagawin natin. Like, we're knowledgeable. If and when this does happen to you. And I hope it doesn't happen. But if it does, at least, you know, meron tayong alam ng konti. So guys, over the years, I have owned many cars. I've been driving since I was 16 years old. And, you know, I've had one or two bumps. You know, during that time. And masasabi ko lang po, nobody wants to get into an accident. Napakasakit ng ulo po. You know, sasakit ang ulo ninyo and, you know, kakabahan kayo. There's a lot of emotions involved, right? Pero kung alam po natin yung gagawin natin, if we're knowledgeable, that's half the battle. So, yung nangyari po kay Kuya Inags, nangyari sa parking lot. Problema po kasi sa parking lot ganito. It's privately owned. It's, parang yung mga police po, they treat that a little bit differently. Kung naka-fender bender po kayo sa parking lot, and this is so common, unless meron pong nasaktan, which I hope is not the case, unless somebody got injured, unless, you know, it involves somebody really, really important, then that's the only time na dadating po yung police, unfortunately. Because, you know, we have to understand yung mga police, they're busy fighting crime, okay? There's bigger crimes out there that they prioritize before they would even consider looking at like a fender bender sa private parking lot. And lahat po ng parking lot dito considered private. Okay, you go to the grocery store, you go to the mall, that's considered private, right? So kunyari, let's use Kuya Inags as an example. Nakaparada yung kotse niya, binangga, nabasag yung taillight, and yung bumper niya bumagsak sa ground. In that case po, the best thing to do is take out your camera right away. Yes, take a footage of the accident scene. That way, meron kayong record just in case. So you know exactly what happened, you know where the damage is, it's on film. No, nobody can dispute that. It's on film. In an unfortunate incident kung hit and run, katulad ng nangyari kay Kuya Inags, he doesn't really know exactly who hit him. Basta nung lumabas po yung wife niya, nakita niya, basag na yung kotse. As in, yung bumper wasak na, tapos wala yung tao doon. Didn't even leave a note. That's considered a hit and run, di ba? So, after you take a footage, kalmado muna kayo. First thing you do, guys, if it's drivable, okay? Only if it's drivable, locate the nearest collision reporting center. If it's drivable, drive it there. If it's not drivable, make arrangements to get it towed there. Okay? Kung hit and run. Tapos, pagdating nyo doon sa collision center, make your report. You know, get all your paperworks ready. Because you're gonna need this to settle with your insurance. This is the hard part that most people don't seem to understand. Yung pong collision reporting center na yun, yes, chances are that's going to be at a police station. If you're expecting the police to actually investigate, go back to that parking lot and ask all of these businesses that have cameras, like CCTV they call it, and grab it and then take some time to investigate, to figure out, roll back the film, pinpoint the exact time na na-aksidente yung kotse ninyo, na merong somebody hit it from the back. Hindi po nila gagawin yun, unfortunately. They're not gonna do that. All that's gonna happen is you're gonna make a report, you're gonna hand in your insurance papers, and then they're gonna give you a number, basically like a file number. And what you do is you call your insurance company, you tell them what happened, you give them that file number, and then you're gonna deal with them back and forth depending on what type of insurance you have. So dito po sa Canada, there's 2 types of insurance. Actually, 3 types. Number 1 is one way. Number 2 is full coverage. And number 3 is fire and theft. Let's start with number 3. Fire and theft. Ibig kong sabihin nun, katulad na itong mga kotse ko dito, sa likuran. Di ko sila dinadrive. They just have fire and theft. So ibig sabihin, kung masunog yung bahay namin, I hope not. Or merong magnakaw nito, they're covered. But for you to drive them, no. It's not covered that way. Just covered for basically storage, right? Number 2 is fully covered, which means kung aksidente kayo, they will, depending on the situation, they will fix your car and they will fix the other party's car. Okay, depending on the situation. One way means kung di hit and run, tapos they prove you to be at fault, they're gonna fix the other person's car, but they're not gonna fix yours. So yours will be out of pocket. A lot of people, pag matanda po yung kotse nila, ginagamit nila yung one way because you save money that way, di ba? And if it's an older car, if it gets into an accident, who cares? It's not worth that much. Anyways, in Kuya Inag's case, bumper and a taillight, that's very minimal. Depending po, I'm not an expert, but I've changed bumpers before in Hondas. And I've replaced taillights on Hondas and other cars. And it's really not that expensive, especially on an older car. Pwede kayong pumunta sa junkyard if you're lucky enough to find yung exact na modelo that'll have the same bumper. Kahit iba na yung kulay, pinturahan nyo na lang. Maybe $300-400 tops for a used bumper. Taillight, you could probably get that on eBay for under $50. Okay? And depending kung may karunungan kayo, like the clip here, clip there, kung pwedeng kabit ulit yung bumper, it's not that hard to do. So really, realistically, if you just want like a quick job, like a not so professional job since it's an older car, probably do it for under $1,000. Kung yung deductible ninyo is $1,000 or more, it would be very foolish na makiklaim kayo sa insurance ninyo. I'm not an expert on insurance, but I've had car insurance since I was 16 years old. And the one lesson that I know is anytime you make a claim, there's always a very good possibility that they're gonna jack up your rates. Okay? Wala akong tiwala sa insurance company. It's just the way it goes. It's one of those mandatory things that you have to pay, hoping that you'll never use it. Because when you use it, you're always second guessing whether they're gonna jack up your rates or not. And the last thing you want is for your rates to go up. So ganon. Let's go back to the topic. So, kung nasa parking lot kayo, nabangga kayo, I already told you the steps to make. It's more than likely gonna be between you and the insurance company, lalo na kung hit and run. So Kuya Puto, paano kung di hit and run? Paano kung nandun yung tao? Paano kung nandun kayo sa kotse pareho nung binangga kayo? Well guys, from my experience, make sure that you do the same thing with your camera. Videotape the whole thing since we're living in this tech age, right? Use your phone. Videotape the whole thing. That way, you see the damage, you see the person that hit you. Make sure you get a footage of their car and their license plate and all their information, right? So make sure na you exchange all pertinent information. Driver's license, insurance details. Pati nga yung plate number, kunin nyo eh. Okay? Make, model, everything. It's on video, so it's gonna be a lot easier, di ba? Kung hindi mo kasalanan, siya bumangga sa'yo. Tapos sasabihin niya sa'yo, oh, you know what? Hindi naman masyadong malaki. Let me just give you $500 or $1,000 and then we just call it quits. Huwag kayong papayag. Wag na wag kayong papayag. Alam niyo kung bakit? Dahil guys, have you ever heard of a thing called whiplash? Alam niyo guys, kung mabangga kayo, feeling niyo siguro, ayos lang. Kotse lang nabangga. Pero, what about the day after? Or the day after that? Next thing you know, yung leeg niyo, ganyan, no? Oh. Isipin niyo, paano? Kung pumayag kayo, kinuha niyo yung pera ng tao na nag-offer $500,000, let's call it even. Tapos biglang sumakit yung leg niya. Or even worse, something worse physically happened to you that was the result of you being hit by that car in the parking lot. You have no recourse. Plus, legally, guys, the proper way to do it, exchange numbers, get that footage, exchange information, contact your insurance right away, and contact the police right away. That way, there's a paper record, there's a paper trail of everything, just in case you need to go back if injuries are sustained that was not felt at that moment in time. So Kuya Puto, paano kung nangyari to dun sa daan, sa kalsada? Well, you do the same exact steps, guys. Make sure na you move your cars to a safe place where it's not gonna get, in the way of local traffic dahil delikado yun. Paano kung mahigip kayo ng mga ibang kotse sa daan, di ba? So, as safely as you can, move it to a spot where you're not impeding traffic or you're not getting in the way of traffic, di ba? And then as soon as you do that, call the cops. Yes, call the cops. Lalo na if lalo na kung merong na-injure, hopefully walang na-injure. And then after that, make sure you change information. And then once you do all of that, police come. Then later on, once everything has been exchanged, contact your insurance and go from there. Okay, guys? So, sana naman nakatulong to, kahit konti. Just to make our kabayans out there aware. Dahil alam ko maraming Pilipino na dito sa Canada, the first thing they do is get a car, they drive. Do you really know what to do if and ever you get into an accident? So, hopefully itong video na to nakatulong kahit konti, guys, okay? Napansin ko po, sa channel natin, ang daming nanonood. Pero 70% of viewers are not subscribed. So, kung nagustuhan nyo naman tong content natin dito, subscribe naman kayo. That way we can grow this as big as we can. So, guys, this is Kuya Puto wishing you good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Stay hungry, stay humble, keep your hustle strong. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye for now.